Hello YouTubers, my name is X Factor. It's been a long time since we featured armored gameplay on this channel, primarily because Dragon's Teeth doesn't have a whole lot of it, but propaganda, tankers can shine. Each team gets 2, and you've got to worry about all the angles, the buildings, these tight corners just like this. If that was a support player or recon, I would have been in trouble, because as you turn your turret around the tank, you lose some of that down angle. And this is a major game of chess. Try to pull up, get that perfect ass shot, 66 damage. That right there is why I use the HE shell. As he pops 8 PS, I reposition my tank to perfectly face him to minimize the damage I might take. With all these buildings, all these concrete barriers, all these walls, tanking could be a nightmare. And I pull up to get my down angle back. So if you're a tanker, and if somebody's close to your back end, try to rotate your tank, the bottom part of it, not the turret, or simply pull up or back up and smash them. Whenever I try to go out in the break on propaganda, I simply try to eliminate their 2 tanks and get those major pieces off the playing field. Then your infantry isn't being pressed and saying, oh shit, here comes a tank. There might be a couple engineers or support players, but what happens when a tank rolls up? I pre-fire my APS because I'm expecting to eat 1 shell at least and then finish him off. The HE doesn't have the highest rate of fire. It does have a massive amount of drop. It doesn't have the highest DPS. If you average out all the shells and shoot as quickly as possible, the HE just doesn't have that DPS, that damage per second. But what it does have is the most damage per shot. As I one-bang a guy through a wall, while looking at the mini-map, I'm thinking, somebody's in the corner. Is he upstairs or downstairs? And just let him have it. So here's why I use HE. Because usually I play behind cover. I get to pick and choose when I want to take my shot as I roadkill somebody trying to either knife or lay down slams, and obviously miss that opportunity there. Pull back to cover to repair. So whenever I'm playing behind cover, I don't have to worry about how fast the enemy's tank can shoot because I'm under cover, as long as I'm not getting pressed by infantry. I pull up, I pillar, I take my shot, I get back under cover. It is that simple. B and D can be an absolute nightmare to take. An absolute nightmare. The cover is ridiculous and the terrain is extremely bumpy. That's another thing that makes it tough. You can run over the buildings, you can run through the walls, and now I'm trying to bait out engineers. The guys that are thirsty for that shot. If I weed those guys out, I have time to repair, which I'm not getting a lot of repair action from my gunner, so I've got to do it myself, and then I'm going to pull up. Bait those engineers back. Make them think they've damaged you. Make them think that you're in trouble. Pull back, make them run to you. It's amazing how many engineers in this game chase. Instead of waiting for me to get in trouble when I'm exposed in the middle where they can get nice side shots, and if they have something like a RPG, the side shot is the shot you want. The perfect ass shot is definitely the shot you want, but if you're a tanker, you definitely don't want to give them that ass, much like the tanker did to me earlier. So try to use position as power. That's one of the things that can help keep you longer as a tanker. So we weeded enough guys out. Now we're going to push because I have infantry behind me. Don't really have to worry about my ass right now, so I'm going to pull up to try to counter some of these spawn points. They all spawn around the outside of these points. And here is the lumpy, bumpy stuff that I'm talking about. I can run over anybody and anything in all these buildings, but there's steel pillars that stick up that can give you some issues. You can get stuck on them, and they can pop your tank way up. If they pop your tank way up, you've definitely lost your down angle, not to mention that you have to counter your new turret position. It is a pain in the ass. And here's an example of some of that positioning I'm talking about. There's some of those steel pillars that are still there. You can get through this, but I don't want to be the first guy in here because infantry can be everywhere. This is infantry-friendly zone. This is tank-killing zone. Whether it's a C4 in the second story, an RPG inside a window, you have to be careful. That's why I start to bust out all these walls where I think guys can be hiding. And I'm seriously just shooting spots on the minimap. Oh, there's a red dot right there. Let's shoot that spot. Let's see where this guy's at. Is he hugging? Can I wall bang him? Or can I open it up to the infantry? A tank is only as strong as the infantry that is by him, around him, and more importantly, in front of him. You support the infantry, they support you. It goes back and forth. If you see a good infantry push, that's probably a good spot to push a tank, especially in B and D. It takes a lot of infantry power to fan out and make sure your flanks are covered and your ass is covered. The most vulnerable spots are your tanks. Not to mention some of these 2-story buildings. A smart support player, recon player, waits for you to get underneath a window or blows a spot in a wall in the second story and drops some sandwiches down. And I quickly learned that you could kill these walls, knock them down, and get splash damage through them. Not to mention, you could drive the tank through those full blast. If you get your tank up to a good enough speed, you can go right through those. So here I'm trying to help my infantry out, open up some of these walls, paying attention to the mini-map. B and D are always a cluster. The C point is a tough spot to put a tank because of all the outer buildings, and there's tons of angles that they can just bomb your tank from. But B and D can absolutely be a nightmare, especially if there is no infantry help. If you're going to take B and D, make sure you have a little help. And as you can see, more walls I'm crashing through, just trying to get on the burn point to counter the burn and take the flag away from them. I see this too many times where the tanks sit back and just try to cherry pick and never get on burn. Well, they might get kills, but what happens? No one took the flag. All those people you just killed, more than likely, they're going to spawn engineer, support, recon, and blow your ass up. But if you're on the flag, contesting it, once you get it neutral, you don't have to worry about the additional spawns, just the squad spawns. If you know where the last guy is on the flag because there might be a Mav or commander above you, squeeze him in as I try to one-bang another guy through a wall. It's all about pushing the flags, contesting them, defending them, and just like that, we're already in trouble. They're making another B and D push. So I'm trying to finish up some of these walls. All these buildings come down on B and D. Very reminiscent of Bad Company 2, Erica Harbor, where at the beginning of the match, all the buildings are up. By the end of the match, they are all gone. And here's another example of these steel pillars causing some issues. I've got to pillar and contort my tank properly to get out of here. And I've got to be careful of the down angle I'm taking away from myself, as that guy almost gets off some sneaky moves. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this armor gameplay on Propaganda. As always, YouTubers, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave those down below. We will see you guys soon.